Hello, everyone. I am Teevee the marketer from rockstar.marketing, where we help our clients generate more revenue, increase their exposure, and ultimately kick ass by advertising online and creating cool content that people love. In today's episode, actually, I'm going to call today's episode the attention episode because that's what we're going to talk about and that's what we're going to focus on. Without it, nobody's listening to you. If you don't have attention, you're speaking to an empty room. And this is a topic that I talk about a lot because it's at the foundation. It's a foundational element of doing any kind of marketing. And frankly, it's a foundational element of life. If you don't have people's attention, if you don't have your kids' attention, chances are they're not going to, obviously not listening to you, so therefore not following through on whatever it is you're asking them to do. So attention is key in everything. So let's start off with asking this question that I get a lot, answering this question that I get a lot, which is, does this digital stuff work? Does the digital marketing work? And where should they be spending their time? Where should they be spending their time marketing my businesses when people ask me questions? So number one is, does it work? Yes. And that is because that's where everybody's attention is. In days of old, people would consume content on TV. They'd watch primetime shows, they'd watch the news, they'd watch everything on TV. That's how they would consume a majority of their content. Then they would also listen to the radio. Every radio station, radios used to be thriving radio stations. It used to be big business. So if you wanted to get in front of those people listening to music, their attention was there. You could advertise on the radio. Then, of course, what's happening right now? Hey, what did I just do? Oops, sorry about that. That was not what I was trying to do. And then, of course, we have print, magazines, newspapers. They used to be huge. I used to go into stores and there would be magazines everywhere because people were buying magazines around cars and beauty and hobbies. I didn't realize there were so many magazines until I started getting into marketing. There's magazines for just about every subject you can imagine. Chess magazines, airbrush, Photoshop, graphics. There used to be magazines for everything. So people's attention was there. But obviously, fast forward to today, all those mediums have basically been crushed. Their business models have been crushed because their attention is no longer there, or not in the same numbers that they were back then. I think there'll still be a place for all of them, but these businesses have to restructure the way they do business to try to get advertising dollars because attention has moved here, right where we're at right now. It's moved here. So if you want to watch a show, you can have prime time on your phone anytime. You don't have to wait till 7 p.m. on Tuesday to watch Seinfeld or Friends or whatever Cosby show from back in the day. You don't have to do that anymore. You can wait. It'll be recorded on your YouTube TV or on Hulu or whatever. Everything has moved to your digital devices or your laptop. You don't need, or even your streaming TV, that you can broadcast all these same things. It is no longer on the traditional TV platforms, and with the addition of all the streaming apps from NBC, Hulu, Netflix, you name it, Disney Plus, which has been a pretty good success, I imagine. We're no longer watching traditional TV. Sorry, I'm pointing because there's a TV in front of me. We're no longer watching traditional TV because we don't need to. We don't need to be on their schedule. HBO. Okay. So newspapers, same thing. Same newspapers and magazines. Where do we get our information from? Obviously, almost the entire internet pretty much crushed them between the blogs and Facebook, YouTube. You can get almost all your content there, all your news if you really want to, in real time, supposedly. Please hold. Have something bugging me. So it's destroyed those business models as well. Because the internet pretty much crushed it. We can get our information from blogs, hopefully blogs we trust and not random misinformation type of sites. So we don't need necessarily to watch the news. And radio, well, you have Spotify, you have SoundCloud, you have a ton of audio and radio music streaming apps that you can listen to on your schedule. I joke around that between YouTube and Spotify, My daughters will never know what it's like to have to wait to record a song that they love and hope that the DJ shuts up so they can actually listen to it and record it without the DJ's voice. They will never understand that. They will never know what it means to wait. Now, in this age of instant gratification, you go to YouTube and, or Spotify or wherever and get the music you want in a moment's notice on a whim. You basically have the entire music catalog at your disposal. And those platforms, by the way, Spotify, SoundCloud specifically, have advertising platforms as well, where you can put your message in front of people that listen to a specific type of music, much like you would with traditional radio. Okay? The point is, everyone's attention is on these platforms, is on the internet, it's on their devices. It is no longer in those traditional places. So wherever attention is where you need to be. Which brings me to my next big point. If Facebook goes away tomorrow, where are people's eyeballs going to go? Where is people's attention going to go? Well, I don't know, but I can guess there's probably going to be more YouTube, Instagram, Twitter's probably going to go through the roof. People's eyeballs are going to go somewhere. They're not necessarily going to go back to any traditional format. They're just going to go somewhere else digitally. And that's where you need to focus on. As long as people's attention is on any digital platform, go there. That's where you need to go spend your time, your money, your energy in creating content related to that. You need to go where attention is. And as long as you can discover that, as long as you're paying attention to what's going on in your market and with people's usage, where they're at on their phones, like go outside. If you're a dentist, a doctor, if you run an auto shop, while they're waiting, go outside and check out, kind of poke over their head or ask them, hey, what are you visiting? And that'll give you an indication of where people's attention is, because that's where you need to be. Okay. So as long as you can figure that out, you can figure out where you need to be. And for now, it's going to be all digital. And for the foreseeable future, it will be digital. Okay. Now, you know where they're at. How do you get their attention, right? You know where attention is. You know where their eyeballs are at. How do you get them to stop? Because we're basically zombies. We're scrolling zombies. I said it last week. We're scrolling. Cat. Ooh. Scrolling. Mean. Scrolling. And somehow or another, you have to interject yourself into that scroll and get them to stop. You have to have a thumb stopper. You have to have something that gets them to stop and say, "Whoa, what is this?" And how do you get their attention? Because at the end of the day, everything, like I just mentioned earlier, YouTube, Facebook, all the streaming platforms, radio, life, children, work has their attention. Billboards are driving, crazy traffic. Like our attention is very limited, and we're trying to fight for that from other people, right? So how do we get it? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's see. So number one, and this I actually have a video, and when I post this to YouTube, I'll link it in the video up here. How do you get attention? Number one is, and this kind of encompasses everything else I'll say, is give. You have to give, especially on social media platforms where you're trying to get attention and you're trying to interrupt them. You basically interrupt them, interjecting yourself into the conversation, into their scrolling. You have to give something. You have to entertain them or make them feel smarter, educate them in a way so that way they feel smarter when they finish consuming your content. So you have to give. That takes time. That takes effort. And it has to be fun and engaging. It has to be something, maybe you have a thought you want to say or a message you want to convey. It has to be, ideally, obviously it's going to take time and some creative juices. It has to be fun, engaging, something different. If it's just you just blabbering on with no real thought, and it's like you don't think about doing it in some creative way, chances are they're going to keep going. They're not going to stop. So always think about that when you're posting something. Is it fun? Is it educational? Is it entertaining? And last, maybe, is it inspiring? Is it something that makes them go, oh, that means something? You know, it touches them in the feels, as the kids say. It has to be one of those four things to get them to stop. And it has to be evident quickly. Um, so, quick pro tip: the first line of the description is critical. If you're running an ad, they give you a space to put a headline. And once again, I'm an ad guy, so I'll always talk about ads. But right now, I'm trying to focus more on the organic piece. So if you put some content together, if it's a video, if it's a picture post, or it's just a regular post with content with just words with copy, that first line is incredibly important. You need to make sure that it's captivating their attention. It's attention grabbing. It's a quote maybe from a previous client that you helped. Now I'll speak to that here in a second. But it's something that captures their attention. Try not to make it clickbaity and misleading. Always make sure that it isn't, because Facebook will actually spank you for that. They don't want clickbait anymore. They pinpointed that that's terrible for their audience, and they don't want that. But make sure that it's succinct, to the point, and speaks to something that your end consumer is obviously thinking about. Which brings me to my next point. But make sure that headline, that first line, has to be punchy, has to be grabby, has to pull them in. Okay. Where was I going with that? Oh, speak to your client's mindset. Get inside their head. If you've been in business at least a few amount of years, chances are you know what's going on in here. You know their objections. You know their stories, their struggles, their pains. What do they worry about? What keeps them up late at night? Chances are you should be creating content around that. Because then that's how you get them to stop between the headline and the content, maybe a video, maybe a post. It'll get them to stop and at least say, 2-3 seconds, and then they continue to engage with your content. They click on the picture, they click on the video, because if you don't have that, they will continue to scroll. So if you're speaking to their mindset, what's going on in their head, they're going to stop, right? What is that inner dialogue going on in their head? What are the forces that are at play that you can speak to? Take that angle. Next, or here's another angle. It doesn't always have to be about their pain and struggle. Yes, you want to address that. You want to talk to that. A great thing to think about is your frequently asked questions. What questions are you always answering? Is it a question about price? Is it a question about your expertise? Is it a question about who have you helped? Like, have you helped anybody that's as old as me, or that lives in my part of the neighborhood, or whatever, my education level? I don't know, but make sure that you're in their head and you're speaking to that. But having said that, it doesn't have to all be negative. That might be a great way to capture their attention and get them in your audience. It can be fun. It can be lighthearted things that you also know about them. Just keep it light. Be able to take them through this relationship, in which you're not always just hitting them with pain point. Make it fun whenever you can, and it also becomes much more share worthy. If it's a fun, engaging piece of content, it's easier to share. One thing that I've learned in the last few months with a couple of my brands that I manage, including my own, is, which is crazy to me, because memes are like everything we post online. And as you scroll through your newsfeed, check this out later when you get a moment. As you scroll, you're going to find that 4/5 of the content, 3/5 of the content are memes or GIFs, mainly memes. It could be political, it could be live, it could be relationships, it could be, you name it. It's memes. Memes are one of the craziest phenomena to me that we use to communicate with each other and tell a quick story, and you can almost guarantee a laugh. So try to find resources that are creating memes, or you yourself create memes around popular topics that are popping up. Like recently, the lady screaming at the cat thing. It was 2 different memes, but that went viral, and everyone was creating so many versions of that. And I created a couple for my own brands, because it's like, this is different. It's the same as you're basically piggybacking what's trending right now. It's always a good idea. Piggyback what's trending. 1 second. Okay. So make sure I'm still on. Piggyback what's trending, because then it's like high on people's mind. It's top of mind. And just add your angle to it. Add your spin to it. That's a great way to kind of create some humorous content for your market. Or in my case, I also look for meme accounts around my market. Like there's marketing memes, there's dance memes, there's obviously political memes, there's memes about just everything. There's probably legal memes for consumers, for actual people that you want to share with. Find them or just create your own, and that's an easy, relatively easy way to create something a little humorous, so you take people through a different emotional state and not just always hitting them with pain. I find that if I include that in my marketing mix and my content mix, it's incredibly engaging. And people, like, I just posted one yesterday and had a lot more people engage in my content because this is a new brand. The Teevee, the marketer brand, is brand new. On Instagram specifically, I had more people engage with that than any other piece of content. Instagram is coming around slow, but that content, that piece was highly engaging. So do that for yourself, and that way you become a much more a richer person. You're not just someone that's always trying to hurt them or remind them of their pains. Okay. I said this earlier. Another piece of content you could create is sharing a story of a recent customer's experience. Take them through that journey, the before and the after working with you. What was that like? What were their objections before they were working with you? What were they worried about? What was the process? And then now, where are they at? Now, with this, we'll be very specific in saying, make sure that you don't share before and after pictures. Well, you can share them. The thing is, you can't advertise them. So if you know that you want to advertise a piece of content, hi, Tasha, I just saw you yesterday. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. But what was I saying? Oh, make sure you don't share before and after pictures. So if you're trying to help people lose weight, don't share the before and after. And know you're going to advertise this content because you will get declined. Facebook hates those. It's against their terms, and you will get declined quickly. All right. And here's a big one. It's a lead generation kind of strategy, which is if you're the type of business that can create an offer for people, maybe 50% off of this, 75% off of that, a free consultation, a free 10-day trial. Yoga studios are real good for that. Free consultation are great for attorneys. I will say also, as far as attorneys are concerned, depending on the niche, it's almost mandatory that you have a free consultation. I say that you don't have to, but because in some industries it's just the norm. If you don't have a free consultation, your advertising or anything you put out will show, obviously, because everyone else is doing free consultations. So keep that in mind. But some type of free introductory offer. If you run a bar or a restaurant, maybe a free drink between these times. Something crazy, an irresistible offer. That's a quick way to generate a lead. This is the critical piece to lead generation strategies, is by creating offers that make people say, damn, I have to take you up on that. If it doesn't make people feel that way, especially around some of these businesses, free teeth cleaning, a free toothbrush. Yes, and I already hear people like, well, I don't want people just to come in for the freebies. Right, nobody does. However, this is the quickest way and the easiest way to get as many people into your audience and into your funnel as possible. And now they've indicated that there's interest. Now it's up to you to nurture that relationship. Some of them will flake out. Some of them will just take you up on your free offer. But it is absolutely the best way to start generating a buzz and getting people interested in your stuff. Ideally, you have a system in place where you get them in for that free offer, and then you sit them down, and then you upsell them on what else they need, right? Some people won't take you up on that. That's fine. That's always a reality of this type of business, and in any kind of business, and with this type of strategy. But enough of them should, if you have systems in place and people in place, to be able to upsell them on other things that they may need. It's just a loss leader, as we used to say in the grocery business. You know, you're giving away eggs for 9 cents or paper towels for $2 for $1. People come in for those, but while they're in the store, what are they going to do? They're going to buy other stuff because they're wandering around the store. That's the idea. Same thing. Principle still applies to local marketing businesses, local businesses, mom and pops, brick and mortars. All right. But make sure that it is an absolutely irresistible offer, and that's a way to ensure that your efforts actually pay off. All right. Um, so now that you have it, how do you keep it? Well, the quick answer is more of the same. At the end of the day, the other big concept I want to make sure to touch on that is huge in the whole point of everything that we're doing by creating all this content that I keep encouraging people to do. I must have already said the word content at least 100 times. It's starting to annoy me. I get annoyed when I repeat myself and use the same words. But anyways, this is the whole point of this this video. But the reason that we're creating all this content is because we're trying to get trust. We're trying to win people's trust. People will do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And you're trying to create this digitally. Like I am here with you. I'm trying to create this relationship with you by giving you all this information and build trust that over the course of time, one day, maybe you hire me or maybe you refer me to someone that will hire me because you know that I know my stuff. Well, that's the same thing you're trying to do with all this content is over the course of time, people trust you because you've proven to them by creating engaging content, you've educated them, make them feel smarter about the problem that they're going through, making them feel like they know what's going on with their bodies, if it's a health issue or their teeth or their roof. They're not going to get ripped off. You're educating them on things they need to consider before hiring a roofer. These are things that will create this trust. That's what you want. That's the point of all this. In the sales world, it's a known fact that majority of people will not take you up on your offer or buy your thing in that first touch, like that lead generation strategy. They're not going to buy it right away. But if it's a really good offer, enough will make the entire campaign a profitable campaign. However, most people will not. In the sales world, they say that the stats show, they've done studies on this, that it takes 7 to 8 touches before someone makes a buying decision. 7 to 8 touches. Most salespeople, most businesses just reach out once or twice max, and they don't get past that. And the sales, like 70% of the sales, happen in the 7th to 8th touch, with going as many as 12 touches. So in the offline world, in the real world, what traditionally would be done, maybe you visit their store, they get your name, number, and email, or name and number. That's 1 touch. Then they may give you a call to follow up. Then they may send you an email. Then they may send you a postcard. That's 4 touches right there. These are all instances for them to reach out to you and remind you that they're there to help you. Same thing for you. Now we can do this digitally, and that's how what this content will be useful for, is to create those instances for you to continue to stay in front of them. Obviously, it's critical that the first touch is something educational, something you're giving, right? Like I spoke on earlier, and that makes them want to like your page, engage with your page. Even if they don't like your page, that's okay, because you can come back to them with some advertising. When you create an audience around people that have engaged with your page, engaged with your ad, now you can run an ad with another piece of content, like a meme. Although memes are tough because there's too much words in it. But another piece of content, a story. A great idea would be to create a testimonial video of a client speaking specifically to how you were able to help them, taking them through that journey. So that's a piece of content. The point is, you have to continue to deliver this content and fun stuff. Now, once again, everything that I said earlier, bring it back down to now, and how do you continue it is by just delivering the same stuff. Make them look forward to hearing from you. Don't let them unsubscribe from you or feel like you're just annoying them because you're just always trying to hit them with an offer. Don't always hit them with an offer. Educate them. Make them feel like they're learning something with you. You do that over the course of time, and this is a long-term proposition. They will get trust. You will gain their trust. What am I trying to say? You will gain their trust. They will trust you. Sorry, it's been a long day. I was up all night. They will trust you. And once you have that, and this is cool because it's happened to me, and I know it's happened with a couple of my clients, where we created some content and they got a person to call them, and that person said that they were referred by someone that watched the video like this, and that person never went to them. The person that referred them never actually called my client. It was a referral. So in essence, this is word of mouth. Only you're creating it digitally. You're creating through social media content and advertising. It is word of mouth. It is still a very viable thing. However, you can start to actually gather it and gain it through your own means and not have to depend on people like hopefully they were a client of yours and they will refer you. No, they don't even have to be your clients. They just have to be in the audience that you are targeting. So that's incredibly, incredibly cool. But over the, if you continue to deliver content, it's fine to continue to make offers because you want to generate business. That's the whole point. But don't do it every single time you create a post. Make it engaging, make it a meme, make it a story, make it a testimonial video, make it something like, hey, this happened to me today and it was crazy. Let me just share, whatever. Be creative, like share your story. And something I heard years ago is like, take them behind the scenes. What's it like to work behind the scenes? Share like your staff. That's a great idea, actually. I didn't have that in my notes, but share stories of your staff or introduce them to your staff. And that would be cool because, say, for example, you're a dentist's office. They will know them digitally. They would virtually know them. So when they walk into your office, there's a little less intimidation, especially if it's the first time being there. Because there's always this awkwardness about what's the process. But if you see a familiar face, it makes the process a lot easier. It makes that experience a lot richer. So that's a thing to consider. All right. Let's see here. That's it. I thought I had a little more, but that's it. Now you know why it's important, why getting attention is important, where is it, where you can go if Facebook goes, how to get it and how to keep it, and ultimately why it's important. Obviously, to get attention, getting attention is important, but the big reason why is to gain trust. My name is Teevee the Marketer. You can find me at www.rockstar.marketing. Like I said, I help businesses generate leads, exposure, and revenue by creating engaging content, lead generation strategies, like I spoke on earlier, and just helping businesses grow. If there's something you're interested in, feel free to message me. Also, we will be here once again next Tuesday at 11 p.m. I've been having trouble with dates yesterday. Yesterday I had an event where I kept on saying, come back on December 6th. I meant January 6th. So next Tuesday, 11 a.m., I will be here. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Yes, this will go to the YouTube channel here in the next hour or so. Feel free to message me with any questions that you want me to answer directly on the show. I appreciate you. Look for me on iTunes, Spotify, search Google. Google, search Teevee the Marketer on those channels, as well as on YouTube to find this video, the replay of this video, as well as the audio. Yeah, I did, right? Tasha was there. So yes, I'll be Spotify and Apple Podcast. Search Teevee the Marketer. You'll find me there. Same thing on YouTube. And, of course, on Facebook, Teevee the Marketer to find the replay, as well as to stay in touch, stay engaged with my content. I will continue to share valuable information. I think next week I have a couple of cool things, like strategic things that you can do to try to generate more revenue for your business and more exposure. So stay tuned in. Make sure to share this video if you found it insightful, and if any of your colleagues or fellow business owners could find this beneficial, they will. I would really appreciate it. Until then, have a great day. And remember, if you're in business and if you're not marketing effectively and efficiently, are you really in business? Have a great day. Bye-bye.